For it, I would love it if you would introduce all the guests tonight in your distinctive King Leonardo style. Because I think it'd be too... Would you mind doing that for us?
It would be an absolute pleasure.
Would you mind introducing Michael to the audience?
Okay.
Here we go.
This is Michael McIntyre!
Yes, come on.
Road again. Just can't get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends. Get on the road again.
Michael McIntyre.
Oh,
Michael, how are you?
Hello.
You look good. You have lost quite a lot of weight since last time you were on the show. I think you have.
Do you think?
Yeah, I know you were saying you were going to try and lose some. You've lost some, definitely.
Well, I don't think you've done me any favours sitting me between those two men.
No.
That was what I think I've just had one of the least manly moments in my entire life.
What?
I met the world heavyweight champion in makeup. I'm sitting there, they're putting foundation on my face. She's saying, would you like us to do your hands? Just step back, it's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, he wasn't going to look at you and think, OK, here's someone cut from the same cloth as me anyway.
I suppose that's
He wasn't going to think he's a tough
Although
guy.
if I'm honest, I do find boxing a little bit girly. I mean, the fact is they fight for a belt and a purse.
Michael, as I was saying, you do look fantastic. But last time on the show, you were definitely looking a bit bigger. Look, you remember? Look, you were definitely looking a bit chunkier.
That's very generous.
You were, and when you left the couch, I don't know if you saw what you did. Look at the couch. Look at that. And now, you've had it way up.
Well, I tell you what happened is I actually had a moment. I had a moment in my life when I thought I'd better maybe go on a diet now. I was on a plane, one of those sort of relatively small planes, you know, with the ones where the captain turns around and sort of says, are you ready? You know, before you take off. Which is slightly on the back foot. And the stewardess came over and she said, can I just move you over to seat 6A on the other side? And I said, why? Give me a reason for this. She said, it's probably better you don't ask too many questions and just move your stuff over. And I said, is it all right, maybe if you know, I can't just move, I'm quite comfortable here. And she said, it's captain's orders, then it's best that you just move your stuff over. It was to balance the weight of the aircraft. How depressing a moment in your life is this? If I can't just get everyone on the flight on this side just leaning towards the window, and Fatty, over there on your own, please.
You've suddenly become ballast.
Yeah.
And I hope you moved. I hope you obeyed her.
Yes, I did. I moved, and we landed.
Okay, and now what a great year or great 6 months it's been for you, because I was aware that you were out on the circuit and I was saying this comedian's great, he's doing it. Suddenly you're just about as big as a comedian can get in this country. You're selling out. I know you played Manchester this week to 14,000 people.
Yeah.
Well, it's an incredible. This tour is doing great business for you.
Yeah,
your
well, when I
DVD
came
is the fastest selling DVD in the history of comedy DVDs, I believe.
Yeah, it was the highest selling. We sold a lot of DVDs.
That's
It's very
incredible.
exciting.
Congratulations.
But we put the tour on, and I announced it on this show, and you never know how it's going to go. But yeah, it's been amazing. I've had so much fun. I mean, I'm pretty flat out. I mean, it's every single night. I'm a bit of in a daze, and the arenas are. I mean, they're huge. It's a very different type of comedy.
Well, but I mean, you're quite big and physical on stage, you know. I don't mean big. I mean, a big performer.
You have to fill it.
So
you have to run around.
Have you changed your performance because of that?
Well, yes, I suppose. I think I've always wanted to be on a big stage. I'm better on a big stage, and I didn't know that until I started. But I'm very aware of the people at the back. I mean, like, I've done the O2 a few times. I'm doing it again next week. And it's so, if you must have been there, I mean, it's so enormous.
Yeah. But this must be, I guess, the dream of a comedian, is you want to reach an audience, you want to be popular, and therefore when you get to this scale, you're, as big as you can be. It's like Steve Martin, Billy Connolly, those the big names. You're up there with them now, which must feel, I would have thought, great, but also probably a bit strange.
Well, it's a different kind of comedy, because I perform big set pieces, I suppose, like on the DVD, as opposed to when you're in a theatre, you can engage with people a bit more. And I have engaged a little bit, but it sort of backfired last week in Glasgow. There was a guy in the front row, and he had some glasses with him, sort of spectacles, and I just saw him sitting there, because normally I just think I've just got to perform big and not get involved. I just said, what have you bought your glasses for? You know, you're going to be reading during my show, do you have no high hopes for entertainment? And he said, I've got a lazy eye. And that sort of shifted the atmosphere slightly in the room. And so I tried to change the subject. I said, what's your name? He said, it's Ian. I couldn't resist it. Is that with 2 eyes? It was there for the table.
The Comedy Roadshow has been a huge hit on TV as well. And you have a lot of younger, well, not necessarily young, but up-and-coming comics on the show.
Yeah, it's been great. We've managed to break people. You know, it's good to have an opportunity to do that. Because I've been on the circuit, for a long time, and I know that there are people with great acts out there, and it's hard to know, where to place them. And they weren't doing very long. It was like 7 or 8 minutes. So, it's really nice to take comedy on the road as well, because it always seems to be in London, and regional audiences were so happy that we were there, and there was such a great atmosphere. And because it is essentially live comedy, and live comedy really benefits from an audience who are up for it.
You need an audience who know what they're going to get and are looking forward to it.
It's unbelievable. And, you know, Manchester and Glasgow and Belfast. Belfast was a great gig. It was a slightly odd experience being there. I stayed in the Europa Hotel, which is... it's been bombed more than any other hotel in Europe, and they tell you that when you check in. They literally go, welcome to the Europa... Like it's a selling point. Welcome to the Europa Hotel. We've been bombed more than any other hotel in the whole of Europe. Would you like a wake-up call? Am I going to need one?
Yeah, presumably, when you're on the road, something like that would occur to you, you could put that in your act. Is that how you write material, or do you clear a sort of set period of the day to come up with new stuff?
Well, on the road show I did. I spent 2 or 3 days before in every place we went, just literally looking for jokes. You know, things happen like when I did my gig in Sheffield, they didn't let me into my own show because I didn't have a pass. And this was good enough to open with.
Yeah.
You know, I show up at the venue, he's like, pass please, mate. And I'm like, it's my show. I didn't want to sound arrogant, but it is my show. And he looked at me and went, rules are rules. It's my show. I mean, do you know the pass is just a photo of my own face? And he said, of course I do. I've been checking them all day. It's my job. I know exactly what the pass is. Where's yours? And I said, well, look, it is just my face. Do you mind if I use my own face as the pass? He said, can the Queen use her face as a tenor? No, get your bloody pass.
But he had a point.
Yeah. So something like that happens, and you go, well, this is fantastic.
Well, what about stuff